Do fat burning supplements work? We'll be going over legal and illegal fat burning supplements and discuss the reality versus the marketing of these supplements. What are fat burners? There are different supplements marketed by the supplement industry which will help you burn fat. Like shown in the images, the way the supplement industry seems to promote them is that simply taking these pills will help you get from the out of shape people on the bottom left images to the shapely people that are fit and much more attractive on the right. And of course, everyone's goal in life is to, well, most people would like to be in better shape and more physically attractive to the opposite gender. So this is a big motivator and a big profit generating industry. So on the right of this slide, I'm showing you some popular fat burners. They all tend to work through different mechanisms. And the fact of the matter is that there are fat burners that are known to work, like Ritalin and Adderall. You might know them if you've heard of them before as drugs used to treat attention deficit disorder, which is a condition in which kids tend to have a lot of energy and be unable to focus. Attention hyperactivity, uh, something disorder. However, what you might not have heard is that these drugs have a side effect which reduces weight. And oftentimes, or sometimes, not as commonly these days, doctors would prescribe these uh, drugs to patients that were morbidly obese in order to help them reduce their weight. However, interestingly enough, these commonly prescribed drugs, Ritalin and Adderall, are stimulants that are very similar to cocaine and speed, which are drugs that were often abused in the past. So the administration of these drugs have radically reduced in recent years for non-stimulant drugs to treat those disorders, and they don't prescribe them as much for obesity, as well as there are other amphetamines and other things used prescribed by doctors in order to reduce weight as a last resort. Furthermore, there are other supplements that were previously legal but have now become illegal because they were known to help accelerate fat loss. One example is ephedrine, caffeine, and aspirin used in combination. A lot of people into fitness that were trying to get cut and much more leaner would take these and then work out, and they claimed that it would increase their heart rate, make them sweat a lot more, and the fat would fall off. Another thing that a lot of bodybuilders in the IBFF tend to use is Trembolone and Anavar, which are steroids, which help you retain muscle while you're trying to lose fat when in a calorie deficit. And there were some claims that human growth hormone, which was also used often and popular in the past, that would help you increase your calorie consumption. And as a result, people on this drug would um, be able to lean down a lot more easily. And there were more. But the issue with these drugs is that they often came with side effects, even the doctor prescribed ones. Like they increase your risk of heart attacks later in life or at the time you're consuming them, and cancer in some cases. So they were made illegal because people would abuse them to the point where it would result in them experiencing these side effects. But if used in moderation, I think that they could have avoided it, but people that were consumers of these drugs, which is what they are, were abusing them. So they were made illegal. Okay, so there are also another class of fat burners. They're different types. And now we're going to look at the legal fat burners and the non-prescription fat burners. I like to group these into three categories: stimulants, which are used to increase your metabolism or the amount of energy you burn, hormone regulation, which will um, help you change your hormone state uh, to your hormone levels to a point where you're more conducive to burning fat. So it becomes easier to lose it, and hunger suppression. So this will make you eat less, and as a result, you're more likely to lose weight. However, what the supplement industry often doesn't emphasize is that these things won't work without doing exercise correctly and having the proper diet. Furthermore, many are fake and do nothing, or they're based on shady science. So because this is such a big money maker and the supplement industry isn't as regulated, or I would even beg to differ, it's very little regulated. Um, there's a lot of fake products out there which is sold in stores whose main purpose is just to make a profit, and they don't even work. So now let's look at popular legal brands. Um, I won't discuss at the moment whether they work or not. So, Burn XT on Amazon is very popular with a high rating and um, over 20,000 buyers. Hydroxycut, you might have heard of that. They used to have a lot of commercials in the past. They're also purported to help burn fat, L-carnitine, and lipo-6. So these products, the ingredients in them from country to country tend to change, even though they have the same label, because the ingredients that are allowed in different countries are different. So you might have an ingredient in the supplement that is allowed in one country, but not allowed in another. Furthermore, the tolerance and strength also varies. I'll discuss what this means, but it'll make you feel different. Some people just can't handle more because it'll increase your heart rate and make you sweat too much, and it could be taxing on your energy levels. So, based on how fast you want to lose and whether you want to do it safely or not, um, you'll have to pick your according fat burner and dose. Just because something's legal doesn't mean it's safe. Food for thought. So common side effects of most fat burners are nausea, increased sweating, because sweating is often a good sign of whether you're burning fat or not, oddly enough, I would say. It could decrease or increase your energy based on its composition. It could decrease or increase hunger. For example, stimulants tend to decrease hunger. It could cause lightheadedness, decrease water retention, and empty out your wallet because they're so overpriced and expensive in most cases. Of course, these side effects depend on your genetics and where you're at, because a heavier person will be able to consume more of these supplements versus a lighter person who will need a lower dose, just because um, the actual medication will be distributed over your body. Furthermore, based on the composition, it could be tailored towards increasing hunger or decreasing hunger. So the online consensus of most people that bodybuilder and stuff, I was looking through the forums, is that they mostly don't work. However, you might see some positive reviews when going through forums, and that's because they actually have people that are paid to go on these forums and advertise the efficiency of those products. But you'll see that after them being out for a while, that the popularity or the amount of posts talking about how it works goes down significantly. That's because in many cases, these real people realize that they're getting the same results just dieting and eating properly versus um, taking these additional pills to accelerate things. Because if you don't got the proper habits in place, you're not going to see results regardless of whether you're taking a pill or not. Furthermore, research papers, this is from PubMed, which is a medically renowned online journal, says even justifies this. It says many supplements although show some promise, evidence is lacking. So there are not many studies. So the makers of these supplements will read something that is a paper that's backed by very little evidence or hasn't been researched much, and then suddenly they'll start throwing these ingredients into a pill and giving it to people without giving it time to find out whether these supplements have side effects and stuff like that. Um, so you might be taking a pill that's supposed to help you lose fat, but they're not going to discover the side effects till years later. And when they do, it's too late because you're going to be already experiencing them, or you're on the line to have your heart attack or whatever. And then they'll probably make it illegal, but it'll be too late. Just like steroids. In the beginning, steroids was legal, but then they found out it caused heart attacks. It caused people to gain breasts, men to gain breasts, and put the hormones out of whack if not consumed properly. The same thing applies to many supplements that, especially fat burners that exist today. So, supplement sellers, like I said before, they advertise on forums. They pay people to advertise their ineffective supplements. Bodybuilders are even paid to advertise ineffective supplements. It's oftentimes a money grab. They don't care about your health. What they're trying to do is make a penny, right? Or a dollar off your desire to be more attractive to the opposite gender or get into better shape in order to show off at the beach. And they say it makes it easy, but in reality, it doesn't change much. So, although I said most of them don't work, it doesn't mean some of them don't work. It doesn't mean that some of them can't work, right? But the reality is, you have to have everything in alignment, like your diet, your exercise regime, your hormones, and you have to be doing everything correctly. And then it might help you speed up the fat loss process a wee bit, but it's not a holy grail of fat loss. That's why most people take these pills and realize it's just a waste of money. So, what do you have to do in order to benefit from a fat pill, a burning pill that works? Number one, you have to make sure your hormones are in alignment. You can go to a doctor and get a hormone test, and they'll tell you if you have too much of something or too little of something, a vitamin deficiency, a mineral deficiency that could be interfering with your fat loss goals. If you don't control your calorie intake and calorie burn, it's not going to work regardless, right? Because in order to burn fat, you have to burn more calories than you consume. That is if there was a holy grail, that's the holy grail. Furthermore, you had to control your macros, your carbs, your fats, and proteins in relation to each other. You have to have more proteins, less fats, and carbs in order to change your body composition. Furthermore, in order to get all your minerals and vitamins, you got to have lots of varied vegetables. So if your pill is not working or you're not losing weight, regardless, you might want to integrate more vegetables into your diet. They'll also give you a feeling of fullness with less calories, so that'll help you control your eating. I mentioned this in my previous lectures, but not in this one. But because the majority of the fat, broken down fat particles, leaves through your lymphatic system, which is not driven by your heart, but rather stuff goes through it based on movement. If you are experiencing inflammation, just like in your circulatory system, if your blood vessels are inflamed, it'll make it harder for your muscles and other organs to absorb nutrients and get rid of toxins. The same thing applies to your lymphatic system. If it's inflamed, what can happen is that those fat particles, rather than being removed from your body, they're going to get stuck and deposited somewhere else. So you can integrate deep tissue massages and a non-inflammatory diet in order to help eliminate these fat particles after hard workouts from your body. Another thing you can do for stimulant-based fat burners is take them like half an hour before a HIIT-based workout when you're fasting. And then after your fasted HIIT workout, take a walk or do some light cardio, slow intensity, long-term cardio, walk, swim, in order to help your body flush those broken down fat particles out of your body. Another thing is work out 5 days a week, and the remaining 2 days do active recovery because you're trying to lose weight and clear out your system, and staying still rarely ever works for cleaning out your system of toxins. So work out 5 days a week, and the remaining two go hiking or swimming, active recovery. Sleep enough because fat is burned and removed while you sleep, um, more so than when you're awake. And eliminate stress from your life, because if you're stressed out, chances are your hormones are going out of alignment, and you're not going to be able to burn fat as efficiently as if you wanted to. So, in to be clear, um, fat burner supplements are, even though many don't work, some work. However, they don't work alone. In order for them, they'll accelerate your journey, the ones that do work, but you have to be in alignment with your diet and everything else before they do work. So if you are out of shape, like morbidly obese or something, you don't need these supplements. Something else is wrong if your exercise and your diet is in alignment. So you might want to go to a doctor to get the blood work done in order to find out what's preventing you from losing that weight. And um, if that's okay, your workouts just might not be intense enough or long enough. Because remember, your energy sugars are stored in your liver, and you're not going to start burning fat until you use up all the sugar in your liver. Then you'll start going to the fat, and then you have to work out for long enough and intensely enough in order to break that apart. And your hormones have to be in alignment in order to utilize more fat than other energy sources. Different people's body responds differently to different supplements, even fat burners. So you want to find one that works for you. But if it's not working with your diet and you're not making any progress there, chances are a pill's not going to help you. Um, Another thing to keep in mind is that these pills often have a placebo effect or can be addictive. Yep, even legal supplements can be addictive, or they can have ingredients that will be illegal in the near future. So, do fat supplements work? Some do, but most don't. Um, so, that's food for thought, and that's all I have to talk about with regards to this for now. I hope you learned something. Till next time, if you know any supplements that do work, that you could stand by, please feel free to comment. In my future videos, I'll actually talk about a few fat burners that I found that actually work. Goodbye from your lean physique.